You can do $1 million per year and still not own a business. If you stepped away for 2 weeks and the money stopped coming in, you didn't build a company, you built a really expensive job. And the reason you keep hitting the same number isn't because your marketing and your leads or your sales team, it's because you haven't built the systems and the infrastructure underneath the revenue for it to grow and build while you're not there. So you don't have a lead problem, you have an operations problem. The last company I worked with went from $400,000 per month to over $1.6 million per month. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what questions to start asking yourself so that you can start building the systems to scale past that $1 million per year range and build a business and a revenue stream that grows without you. So let's jump straight into it. Again, most of you don't own a business, you own a really expensive job. And I can prove that with just a few questions here. One of the first questions I always like to ask companies right when I get in is, show me the data. Where are the sources of truth? Where is everything being pulled into? And within 30 seconds, can you answer any question about yourself, your team, your marketing, your operations, your service delivery within seconds of me asking you that question? Because a lot of founders and business owners that I know that are between that $1 to $3 million range have the worst tracking systems I've ever seen. Manual tracking, delayed data, hours on end just to get me a simple piece of data that I asked for, all sitting inside of Google Sheets, and they have this massive Google Sheets empire. Where the real businesses that I speak to, where the founder does not need to be directly involved in every single day-to-day operation, they can tell me within seconds any question I have about the business right when I ask it. And here's a hard-hitting question that I really want to ask a lot of the founders out there. What happens if you decide to go on vacation for 2 weeks? What happens if a family member goes to the hospital and you have to take 30 days off from the business, which has happened? The question you want to ask yourself is, if everything had to stop right now, today, for some unknown reason, for 2 weeks or more, could the business grow or at least maintain revenue while I'm gone? And for the majority of you, the answer is no. And that's okay, but just realize you've built an expensive job, you haven't built a company. Because if you can't step away for a week, 2 weeks, or even 30 days of the business, and we can maintain or grow beyond you, then you have locked yourself into a system that you can't get out of. What happens when your best closer quits? You're doing $1 million, $2 million per year. This closer is bringing in 50, 60% of your revenue. And one day they say, hey, I don't want to make 6 to 12K anymore. I got an opportunity to go make $25,000 as a sales manager somewhere else. What happens if one day they give you no notice, boom, gone? Do you have a system to be able to hire and train another closer immediately, same week, same day as this happens, so that revenue stream only takes a dip for a second, but you have the systems, the SOPs, and the processes in place immediately to where that closer goes from 0 to 100 real quick. And we only see a slight drop off because that closer left. And what happens if the momentum of the business just stops? I've had that happen to me before, where you're pushing the boulder, the momentum is going and going and going, then boom, hard stop, life hits you. Something happens where you have to step away. You get no choice but to step away. And the momentum in the business stops. And the team starts questioning, okay, what's going on? We were crushing and crushing and crushing, and now we've plateaued, or now we've stopped. And the momentum has slowed down. What are the processes that you've put in place to where when that momentum takes a dip down, to where no matter what, that boulder just keeps moving forward? Have you asked yourself and your team that question? If that were to happen to us today, what are the first 3 to 5 things we can do to re-push that boulder and re-get that momentum to continue flowing down? And I'm going to be honest, this isn't laziness. You hustled your way here. You were able to get to a business to $1 million per month, which 99.9% of the population will never be able to say. And everything has always routed through you. It's what you know. It's what got you here. But the famous saying always says, what got you here won't get you there. And now you're in the same boat. You're in a position where you need to step up. You need to unlock that next level, but you can't do it alone. Now you're used to it because that's all you've done. You've single-handedly gotten this business to $1 million per year. And now you need to do something that you've never done before in order to unlock that next level. And the reason this happens again is not because you're lazy. The problem is nothing's written. If I were to go in your business today, I want to see the exact plan for when a closer leaves and we have to implement a new closer. And what happens if you're running a webinar and you want to take a 2-week vacation? What's the plan? Is there someone else that's just as good as you that can take your place? Do you have someone else that you're currently prepping and training to get in front of the camera, start running ads for your brand, and be a part of it for you? The problem has always been is you do it faster. And you haven't had the time, energy, or resources to find and invest in a true A player that's going to take your business and help you take your company to the next level. And that instinct has worked for you well. It's gotten you to that $1 million. But at what cost? Because this isn't a leads problem anymore. You're now the ceiling. You are the problem. You can't sell it. You can't leave it. You can't take a vacation. You actually can never leave. Because again, the second you step away and everyone's numbers start to decline, everyone's paycheck looks a little bit lighter because you wanted to go on a 2-week vacation or something happens to where you need to step away for a second, you've built a job that you can't leave. You didn't buy freedom. Everyone always talks about time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. You've gotten $1 million per year. You have the financial freedom. You have the location freedom. You can do this from wherever you want in the world. What you don't have time freedom. Actually, you have less time now than you did before you even started this thing. And that's okay. If this is the path and this is the way you want to go, if this is the path and this is the business you want to run and how you want to run it, that's fine. But be honest with yourself. You're not running a business, you're running a side hustle. And this is it. But let's be honest, you're not running a business, you're running a job, and that's okay. But the reason why I'm making this video and the reason why I want you to really ask yourself these questions is, do you want to take your business to the next level? Do you think you have what it takes, the patience, the calmness, the decision making, to take this business to grow beyond what you are able to do alone? Because most founders can't do that. A lot of businesses have the ability to grow, especially in the info world. That's a lot of the people that I've been working with recently is in the info space. A lot of these guys think, oh, it's me, it's my brand, it's my business, it's my ads, it's my marketing, so we can never get out of it. But let's take a step back. Daniel Iles is running Viral Coach, and he's in every single ad. But if you look at the last 90 days, he's not anymore. He is slowly adding more and more people into the creatives, so then at some point, Daniel can step away. Because he's going to be able to step out of the business, and the business is doing just as good, if not better, with him stepping away and focusing on what the CEO needs to focus, which is growing the vision, growing the business, growing the people. But again, when you're stuck in this $1 million per month, when you're stuck at $1 million per year, it's really hard because you have bootstrapped this thing to where it goes. And you need to find someone that you can bring along to take it to the next level. Just like Alex Hormozi did with Gym Launch. He was in every ad, he was in every creative, he was in all the marketing. And he eventually took himself out and was able to sell this business. Think about it like a restaurant. Imagine the owner of the restaurant in the back knows all the recipes in his head, nothing's written down, all himself. He wants to go on vacation. What's going to happen to the restaurant? The food quality is going to decrease. The revenue is going to decrease. The cooks are going to say, hey, I don't really know what to do here. Because the owner kept everything in his head. One day, he could have a mid-crisis one day and say, holy cow, what have I been doing? I don't want to do this anymore. He disappears. Guess what? The whole thing, gone. That owner did not have a chance. Those people did not have a chance to take this vision and grow beyond the owner because the owner didn't want to take the time and ask himself the questions necessary to get to that next level. Do I have it in me to build a company that grows and outlasts me? And a lot of you are going to say, I don't know. But take a second, go to AI, your mentor, your friends, and start asking those questions. Do you truly believe you have what it takes to grow beyond the next level and take this from a job into a business? And here's the good news. I've exposed all the questions. So now you can go to your team, your mentors, your friends, and ask these questions and start to gather as much data as you possibly can and start making a decision for what you want to do for your life and your business. If you choose not to grow, you built a hobby and you built a job that only runs when you show up. The second you step away, everything disappears. The second you want to go on that vacation for a month, everything disappears. The second something tragic happens, it all disappears. You've proved the offer works. There's buyers, there's people who believe in you and the mission. You've proved that it works and you prove that it can scale. Now you need to prove, if you have it in you, to scale it beyond what you could have ever imagined. And you can't do that alone. You have to find the right people to put in the right places to scale this bigger than you could have ever imagined. And at that point, that's when you realize that you've built a company and not a job that you're locked into and stuck into. If this hit a nerve, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be talking a whole lot about how we can fix these problems, why these problems exist in the first place, and what we can do to scale beyond the ceiling that we have placed on ourselves. So hit the subscribe button. We'll talk to you soon.